Good morning, Texas, and all of the rest of the world. Somehow or other, today doesn't seem quite right. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Believe it or not, all is well in my heart. But somehow or other, I've just gotten news of that part of Detroit where I used to live, where something really, really horrible has happened. But it really doesn't matter that it was where I used to live, but it's happening all over the world. It's happening everywhere you go. And all of the people who are supposed to be good people are acting as if, how does that song go? The world has gone mad today. Good's bad today. Right's wrong today. Where have we gone? What has happened to our country? You see everything along the borders, and I know I talked about this once before, but that lady who stands in the harbor, give me you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor, your huddle mass is longing to be free. And it's happening. So many are longing to be free. And with everything that seems to be going wrong here, it still must be the greatest country in the world, because so many people seem to be lining up to get across these borders. But someplace along the way, something's going wrong. And this country, it's a part that I've never quite understood. I grew up in the segregated South, but I never had a black teacher until I was in the North in graduate school. And I asked myself, where is the divergence? Where do these people hide? Where are all of the people that make this a great country? That so many bad things are happening right under our noses. It's happening right inside our churches. What is wrong? Where have we gone wrong? We look at the leaders of the greatest country in the world, and they are doing some of the worst things. They're telling some of the biggest lies. They're doing some of the meanest things. And nobody says anything about it. As we get to the point where the former president of this country is able to say and do anything that he wants to do, and nobody says anything. And this is one of the things that I look back on some of the things that my mother used to tell me, and one of the things she used to say to me that I would say to her in return, Mama, that's not nice. And she would say, You have a lot of book learning, but you don't have sense to pour the contents of a urinal without directions on it that says turnip, except she did not say the contents of a urinal. She used the vernacular, which is, I guess, more understandable to some people. I don't know. But anyhow, that's where it is. Now, here we are in beautiful Texas, and in spite of the fact that it's a cloudy, rainy day, it's still a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I'm happy to be here in Texas. But I still find myself wondering, how does a person who is at the helm of the greatest country in the world able to say and do the things and still be considered worthy to run as the leader of this country? Can somebody answer that question for me? Now, let's go to a lighter side. Let's go to what our children are doing. And one of the things that I find is that when I talk to my great-grandchildren, and how does Mr. Rogers say it? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I look at my children and I ask them sometimes, what did you do today in school? And they tell me all of the good things that they did in school today. And I think that they must have been doing a part with listening and paying attention. And I suddenly discovered when I was trying to talk to them, and I said, I was talking to you. Anyhow, here we are asking that question. And one of the things I said, I was talking to you. Did you hear me? And just having started 4th grade, I believe, she says, Gigi, I hear you, but I'm not listening. And I thought, now therein lies another tale. I hear you, but I am not listening. Is that the most wonderful thing in the world, to be able to differentiate between the two? I can actually turn you off in my head. Just because I hear you talking doesn't mean that I have to register what you're saying to me. And these take me back to the time when I said why I don't lie. Because in order to lie, you must be able to remember what you said and not negate it or not go back on it. No, it's like making a promise that you don't keep. And therein lies another tale. And I don't believe that we realize how much our younger people are able to put a lot of what we're saying into what they are doing that we see. And again, it takes me back to the fact that I grew up in the segregated South, but I never had a black teacher until I lived in the North, where everything was supposed to be different, better, and it wasn't that way. But when you are able to know where you're going, know what you are doing, it's easier. I found it easier. May not have been easier, but at least I knew where I was. I knew where I could apply for a job. I knew where I could go to school. I knew what I was allowed to do. Now, that's not freedom, but it puts you in an area that isn't gray. It puts you in an area where you know what your limitations are. And the thing is, what we need to do is let people know the things for which we are fighting, the things for which we stand. And it makes it different. And here, if we want to do something, I know why I'm fighting. I know what my limitations are. And in what is considered a free country, there are some places where there are not any limitations. You should be free to ask for the things for which you are working. You should be able to know what the things are for which you are working. And as my mother used to say, it makes no difference whether you are black, white, grizzly, or gray, to which I added, or purple with chartreuse polka dots. And it really shouldn't. Because if there is a job to be done, and said person qualifies for that job, said person should be able to go up to the counter and fill out an application saying, I can do that, and then demonstrate that they are capable of doing that job. I'm in this chair. I'm old. Now there are some things I can do for this chair, from this chair. And it matters not that I am old. It matters not that I am black. It matters not that I am in this chair, because what I am here asking to do is talk to someone, is go over and do the things that need a voice. And if a voice is what you need, hey, hallelujah, I've got a voice. I've always had a voice. I've always used that voice. And that's what I hope to continue to do. And at this point, I think I'll just say adios and have a good day.